Good afternoon, peoples. If anybody is out there that is watching Facebook, we are sorry, but you're going to have to transfer probably to YouTube because our Facebook link is not working. So, on that news.
On that wonderful note, how
Oh,
are you,
so,
everyone?
how are you doing this morning, Aisha?
Uh, I'm doing not so bad, not so bad. I hope you're doing fine, my dear.
I'm doing great. And I'm
Good.
kind of actually looking forward to doing this particular show because of the issues I have with it. And I wouldn't go so far as to say legal issues, but it certainly could have become one if the author of the book said it chose to press it that way.
Yeah, yeah. As they say in the well-known song, "You are not alone." You are. No, there are lots of people with lots of problems with this film, including me. I got a few problems myself with it. Do you wish to start us all off on this one?
Well, I can start you all off on this. This was actually from a series of books that Tales of Earthsea was done, and there are 6 books total and 9 short story extensions to this as well. And when Studio Ghibli came and asked, mainly Miyazaki Sr. came and asked the writer, can we do this? The writer did not want to do it at all because she did not know Miyazaki's work and she thought that it was going to be more of a Disney type film and she absolutely abhors Disney. She refused that. And I have a few words that she went into that she was later talking about because finally, about 9 years or so after this was done, um, a friend of hers encouraged her to watch My Neighbor Totoro. And she saw My Neighbor Totoro and was like, oh, this is what Miyazaki does. This is what Studio Ghibli does. And at that point, she was okay with it. But as things went on, as I will pull up the notes here in a second, um, Studio Ghibli did not have Miyazaki do it because Miyazaki was retiring. And so he wound up giving it, or I should say, he was forced to give it to his son to do. Miyazaki did not want his son to do it because his son, quote unquote, was not ready. Um, because his son had never really even ventured into this aspect of doing things between the drawing and the producing and the creating of stuff like this. But because the board of Ghibli Films stepped in and said to Miyazaki, no, you're retiring and you're finishing this one movie that you're doing, and it's going to be your last one. We want you to give this to your son. So he kind of did, okay, fine, hands off, gave it to his son to do. Well, according to the writer of the books, she was under the impression, first of all, that it was going to be Miyazaki doing it, not his son. So that was one issue that upset her. And then when she was told, okay, well, Miyazaki and his partner with Ghibli Films are going to be kind of a hands on presence. They're not necessarily going to be working on the film, but they're going to be overseeing it. She felt a little bit better and she was like, okay. And then afterwards, Miyazaki did nothing with this. And when it first came out, when it was in the filming, the preview filming of it, Miyazaki watched, and he didn't even watch the whole thing. He walked out before halfway through because it was so bad. It was done only in second degree filming. There was no colorization. There was no gorgeous backgrounds like we're used to seeing, with Miyazaki's handiwork, where you could actually take apart and you could see the leaves on the trees, or you could see the wave caps on the ocean and hear the sounds. There was none of that there. It was just basically a straightforward painted, and I hate to say this, cartoon animation. It wasn't that great all the way around. And there are other issues with this film as well, but if I can pull them up, I am going to show you what the author originally said of this. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, this is one of her responses. that she's saying, as far as Gorō Miyazaki's film, it's not my book. It is your movie. It is a good book, but she was really she didn't like the fact that it was only taking bits and pieces. It took them out of context from her storyline. Did completely different storyline things. It was just completely messed up. Um, so like I said, there was so much that was done, and I have multiple other statements from her regarding this.
Mm.
So let me see if I can flip these over. Of course, I did not put these in order like I normally should have done. Okay, that was the initial one. Okay. You can talk while I'm doing this.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, when I first come across this film, to be honest, I approached it with it being almost, how can we put it? I was looking forward to something like Princess Mononoke. I mean, I hadn't
Okay.
read the books. I hadn't any idea, but I thought, well, from a few previews that I'd seen, I thought, there's a possibility of this being like Princess Mononoke, and it wasn't.
True. In fact, this is one of the first statements. This is all coming from the writer's blog itself, the actual writer and her blog. And she had written, she says, about 20 years ago or so, and this is before, and remember, this movie came out in 2006. So let's go back 20 years prior to that. She was saying that Hayao Miyazaki wrote her expressing an interest in the animated film based on then, at that time, there was only three books of Earthsea. She goes, I did not know his work. I only knew of the Disney type animation and disliked it. Of course, though I said no. 7 or 6 years later, my friend Vonda B. McDyer told me about My Neighbor Totoro, and we watched it together. And I became a Miyazaki fan at once and forever. I consider him a genius of the same caliber as Kurosawa or Finetti. And to put that in a Kurosawa term, that's incredibly high praise. Because, I mean, Kurosawa to me is one of the most underrated actor, writer, creators I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I do know that when Miyazaki Senior was on about this film, excuse me, he did say, "Look, I'm not going to do it," and he let the board choose the new director for the film, and
Mm-hmm.
they came up with Gorō Miyazaki, the son.
Yep.
Now, up till then, Gorō had been in the museum.
Right.
Uh,
Because he built the Ghibli Museum, and that was it. He was on the board of
yeah,
directors for that.
and Miyazaki Senior turned around and went, "No, he's not ready. He's not ready." Um, but they pushed it, as you said earlier. They pushed it and said, "No, look, you're bailing. He's taking over."
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's how, as far as I know, Gorō was given this as his first film. I mean, Miyazaki Senior is quoted as saying he doesn't know how to produce a film. He doesn't
Correct.
even know how to draw.
That's correct.
So, you know, to say Miyazaki Senior was not exactly overjoyed at the prospect is understandable. I mean, I do know, slightly off topic, that Miyazaki Senior did once admit that his attempt at Tales of Earthsea actually became Nausicaa of the Valley of the Winds, which is quite surprising.
Well, it's kind of surprising, but it makes sense because if you look at this one, and then you look at Nausicaa, of which we'll be reviewing in 2 weeks, um, you can definitely see the difference in structure.
Oh yeah.
Nausicaa Nausicaa goes to the beauty and the artwork and the intrigue, whereas this one really fell flat.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, if you, I've got a picture, if you like, I would show you of
Go
one of
for it.
the of this. Well, you've got something up there at the moment. I didn't.
Oh, no, go ahead and
I
put it up.
didn't. I didn't wish to overlap, as they say. Right. I mean, this is what we're talking about basically. This is the town of was it Hortown, something like that.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's passable, plausible. And I went looking, and the only civilizations, shall we say, that I ever come across that made these rather large structures, which are aqueducts, were the Romans. But they didn't make them big enough for people to live in. And the background animation on this, or the background people, did their best. It wasn't brilliant, but it was a damn sight better than the actual animation itself. Is it visually stunning? Who can say? To be perfectly frank and honest, I've seen better, especially from the show. Morning,
Yeah.
Roger. Thanks for the like, mate. Especially, as I say, from Ghibli. And I read the premise of this before I watched it. And as I said, I was looking for Princess Mononoke style. Because to me, this story lends itself to that style that Miyazaki Sr. had already done with Princess Mononoke. Unfortunately, what you get is animation, which, if one looks at it, in all honesty, is not exactly what I would call fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this is flat.
Exactly. That's all
This
it
is
is.
flat. If you think of Spirited Away, think of an image of Chihiro or any of the characters in Spirited Away. They look rounded. They look filled out. There's shadow. There's movement. There's creases in what they're wearing.
Yes.
There's nothing. This is going back to when they started way back in the 60s, 70s, and they were coming through. I mean, it really, the background, lovely. That sky, beautiful. Those two figures, yeah, not so much. But as I say, that's just me. You know, I just find the whole damn thing a letdown.
No, exactly. It is.
The only thing that for me, the only thing that rescues this film, the only thing that rescues this film is the soundtrack. If you take the animation away and you listen to this soundtrack on its own and you let your imagination fill in the story, you get a completely different story. This soundtrack would not be out of place in what I call a swords and sandal type epic that you used to get from Hollywood in the 50s and 60s.
True. What surprises me with how bad it was received not only by a lot of people, but just in general now, here we are talking about it, almost 20 years later ourselves.
Yeah.
It surprises me that it not only was nominated for Animation of the Year with the Japan Academy, but from the Mancini Film Awards, it actually won Best Adapted Film. So that kind of surprised me that it even got to that point.
Yeah, I mean, I've got here that it the critical response was in Japan was favourable but mixed, which was compared to other Ghibli movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got the Bushun Kichisho Awards, Raspberry, for the worst film in Japan, and the
Yep.
award for the worst director for this film. So, and that was in 2006.
Yeah. And another report was it was the fourth number top grossing film in Japan of 2006,
Yeah, I mean,
which
in 2007, it was nominated for
yeah,
the Japan Academy Award for animation,
correct.
but it lost out to a film that hopefully one day we will review. And you've mentioned it before.
Okay.
Do you remember what film it was?
Oh, I have so many that I want to review.
Right.
And
The
I've
film that
asked
it actually lost out to in 2007 was The Girl That Leapt Through Time.
through time. Oh God.
It lost out to that, you see. Um, it's not done well in any other responses. A lot of people are overly critical of it. As I say, the only bit that seems to have survived I suppose one could call it the car crash, is the musical score.
I would agree with you. The musical score is wonderful, and there's just there's one other major issue that I have with it, and I know a lot of other people do besides that. Um, and I know you watched them primarily only with the Japanese version, so this really would not affect that much. But the adaptation, when it came to coming out in the western part of the world, especially the United States and Canada, is a lot of the actors that were doing the voiceovers, they left out, and even a little bit, I'm assuming, to the Japanese version as well because of the artwork. They left out, what a lot of people were when the author had originally written it, were a darker skinned or an Indian type shade of skin people. And it was very derogatory, the author felt as well, that it had strayed so far from what she had originally written to now it seems like they're whitewashing everything because the actors
Yeah,
that they chose to do the voiceovers, were all white. Not to say they weren't wonderful, but there was a lot of other people out there that they could have chosen. And the same thing with the artwork. They were done very, it wasn't done in the Japanese style. Let's put it that way.
no. Well, let's let's take something which I picked up on: the ships in the harbour. Right?
Okay.
You look at those ships in the harbour. What was your first impression of them?
Kind of rinky dink, I'll be honest with you.
Right. This is where I come up with for the ships in the harbour.
Yeah. Okay,
Do you
and
know
I
where
also
those
see,
ships come from?
yeah, looking at it exactly. The Pinta, the Santa Maria, and the Nino.
No, no, you're wrong. Those ships there are ancient Greek and Carthaginian. They're Mediterranean vessels.
Okay.
Those come from the Mediterranean. And
They
if you
sure
think
look
about,
they
yeah, carry
they
on.
sure look a lot like um the original ships that came from Spain bringing people over here.
Well, no, they're from ancient Rome and Carthaginians. They're very flat. See, they're very flat vessels.
Yeah.
There you go, another one. You see the prominent prow that you get with them. So these are vessels that come from the Mediterranean. And
Okay.
I sat and worked out and thought it through. And if you think about it, a lot of what I would call the architecture that's used within the film would actually not look out of place in Byzantium or Constantinople as it became. And if you
That
think
would
about
change.
the end of Byzantium or Constantinople when it fell, think of the devastation that was around all Byzantine Empire, or what was the Roman Empire. Those cities that they show you within Tales of Earthsea that they use would not look out of place in any one of those. So for me, it's got what I would call a Mediterranean Arab
Vibe to it.
vibe to it, and the music goes with that. And the Spanish guy that did most of the music supported that. That's what he went for. And the original composer went for that same vibe. He picked up on that vibe of Mediterranean, Arab, Eastern Mediterranean vibe mixed with a Irish Celtic musical intertwine to give it that kind of a flavor. That's why the music works, because the music isn't, I would not call it Western European, I would call it Mediterranean, where you get various, shall we say, various hues of skin color.
Yeah.
That's where I would place it, because to me, that's where the architecture of the film, the ships of the film, and for me, the general look of the countryside, that's where I would have placed the film. But, that's just me. And that's what I pick up when I listen to the theme, the musical track to this film. They had such a powerful musical score. It would not sound out of place if you put the score behind something like Samson and Delilah or Cleopatra or the Ten Commandments. It's that kind of power in that musical score, and yet they've married it to this rotten egg, which is a shame.
True.
It's a shame.
It kind of really is in that aspect. And I forgot when you were talking, there was something I wanted to mention on. And now I
mean,
can't remember exactly
one of
what
the
it was.
characters, one of the characters in the film, Cobb, right, the evil magician.
Yeah.
In the Japanese version, he is very, very effeminate, if not outright homosexual, with how he approaches Aaron when he first captures Aaron and takes him back to the castle. And in the Japanese version, Cobb is actually played by a woman.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's actually played by a woman. Cass, I'm trying to find. Typical, when you want to find it, you can't.
You can't find it.
No, but Cobb is actually played by a woman in the Japanese version. Here we go. Teruyuki Kagawa. Oh, that's not the one that I've got. Now, the one that I got, it's a woman. He is played by a woman, and he sounds like a woman. And when you see the presentation, she's there. She's an old woman. And to me, that's different, because most of Miyazaki's films don't portray blokes like that.
True.
And I can't understand how, to be honest, when it came to Cobb, that they actually picked William Dafoe. Yeah, here we go. So
I can picture that.
Yuko Tananaka played Cobb. Is a Japanese actress from the Osaka Prefecture and has won several acting awards in her long career. And Defoe is the one that takes over from, in the English version. William Defoe is the guy. I mean,
I can picture Defoe doing that particular kind of character, though.
Yeah, I mean, Toru, the character Toru is another bit that's a character that for me is spoiled. I mean, she's got a beautiful voice, and the actual actress sung the song, the Japanese version song.
Well,
and actually helped write the words to it as well.
Yes, but what I think is fascinating, and I'm surprised that most people didn't catch on, at least those that I've talked to, is they don't realize that one, it's a way of balancing out things because the world is not in balance at this particular moment in time. But when she gets her balance, when Taro gets her balance, we find out what she really is.
Oh yeah,
during the final battle.
She's not quite the. I mean, when you first see her, when she is about to be captured by the slavers, you look at her and you think, oh yeah, young girl, on her own, picked up as a slave, sold on. No, Aaron sticks his nose in, doesn't get thanked for it. And as you say, it's not until the very final battle when you think Cobb has killed her and she doesn't die. She suddenly comes back to life and says, excuse me, and then starts to transform, and Cobb sees her for what she actually is. He is after everlasting life, and he's just had it in his hands. This dragon suddenly appears, even Aaron sits, he's standing there and it's, holy crap.
Yeah. You know what's funny is she reminded me so much of Spirited Away, though.
You reckon?
With that scene, yeah, she reminded me a lot of Spirited Away.
Yeah. Could be, yeah. Could be. There is actually historical fact for the song, apparently. It's based on an actual Japanese folk song or something. And they've just adapted it. Again, they've taken bits and adapted it. From what I've heard.
I would believe it. Like I said, there were so many things that were taken from all of the books and put into it. It was not done correctly as far as some aspects of the character. Some characters were a combination of 2 or 3 different characters.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've always been told when I've said about, Ghibli Tales of Earthsea, and it's the first words you get out of any fan of the Earthsea books is, but it's not a tale of Earthsea. You will not find this story in any of the books.
Exactly, you won't.
It's a complete and utter. As well, it's taken actually. It's part of it is taken from a story that Miyazaki Senior had in his back pocket as well.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
There were so many things, and I had heard that the son was a little bit angry because he wasn't getting the recognition from his father that he really wanted. But his father was like, no, this is yours. I'm hands off.
Yeah. I mean, as you rightly pointed out, during the screening of the film, Gorō's father walked out for the smoke break, commenting, you shouldn't make a picture based on your emotions.
Exactly.
And as you say, Le Guin was positive about the aesthetic of the film. Much of it was beautiful, but then she later turned around and said, "It is not my book; it's your movie. It's a good movie." But
I
she
think that was
also,
the thing I put up earlier.
she also turned around and said, to portray her true feelings, that the film was a vast departure from the original stories, taking bits and pieces out of context and replacing the storylines with an entirely different plot.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, reading that bit, you get the impression that neither Miyazaki Sr. or the author were exactly pleased about the outcome.
I think this is the quote. No, wrong quote. I have
Yeah,
so many of them up here. But yeah, what you were saying is almost identical to a quote I have.
yeah. I mean, it's, she says, it's not my book, it's your movie. It's a good movie, but it's you can get from that, you can clearly hear that the way she's placed it is, yeah, fine. You've made an animated film with the title of one of my books. That's it.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with me. So, I suppose. I mean, I've watched a couple of other films that Gorō's been involved in, and the one thing I will say about Gorō Miyazaki is he can do a good musical soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, I didn't realize he's responsible for the film Up on Poppy Hill.
Yes, he is.
And he's also responsible for one that I found and I've watched, and it's a CGI film, and that's Earwig and the Witch.
Right.
Again, Earwig and the Witch has a good musical soundtrack to it. It's nothing like this film, believe you me, nothing like it at all. But it's a good soundtrack, and it bimbles the film along. I've yet to see Up on Poppy Hill. I keep trying to get it, and every time I go for it, it's bloody well sold out. So I'm not happy with that.
Sold out.
Yeah, but it's one of the ones I haven't got yet. I've got about 20 of the damn things between this lot here and this lot over here. I've got about 20 odd films of Miyazaki's. So I do not have Porco Rosso. Before you ask me, no, I do not have Porco Rosso.
I like Porco Rosso.
A lot of people like Porco Rosso. I've seen Porco Rosso twice, and I got to say, no disrespect to the film, but it's just not my kind of film. It's
Maybe I found it.
I'm afraid Porco Rosso doesn't do it for me. Yeah, Porco Rosso doesn't do it for me.
Doesn't do it for you?
No. I mean, it's a damn sight better than Tales of Earthsea. I'll grant you that. It's a damn sight better than My Neighbor Yamada's. But it's just not my kind of film. There's something about Porco Rosso that I just don't get on with. I suppose it's the lead character. That could be it. It could be the lead character.
Oh,
Plus,
but I like Snotty Nose.
Yeah. Plus, I've only ever seen it in English, and that's another problem I have. Is I find that if you watch it in English and you watch it in Japanese, it's almost like two different stories.
Most of the time, it does tend to be because it's so different than the translation.
Yeah, you get a completely different story from the Japanese version, and watching the film, read the subtitles, and then you hear it in the English, and you think, really? Nah, no, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't say that. It just, for me, it just does not ring true. I mean, I love watching Kiki's Delivery Service. Just don't show me. Yeah, just don't show me it in English, because I don't enjoy it. You know, Spirited Away, beautiful film. Just don't give me the English version because I just cannot watch it. It bugs me. Sounds stupid, I know, but it does. It bugs the seven bejesus out of me.
Well, going back to kind of the start of this movie, what did you think about Aaron and killing his father?
Oh, you see, this is one of the bugbears that I've got with this film, right? This really
Okay.
does, excuse my French, this really does piss me off about it. He
Okay.
commits regicide, okay? He commits regicide. He kills his father, the king. And who comes after him? Who chases him? Do they even put it about that he's wanted for the murder
Yeah,
of the king?
they
Nothing.
don't really. Yeah, there's nothing in
No,
which I
nothing.
found the
Nobody.
first time watching through it, I'm like, it took me a moment to realize that was the king because, like you said, nobody chased after him. There wasn't a big, let's gather, the palace guards and go after him. Let's do
No,
something.
exactly. There was nothing. I mean, in that situation, even in the swords and sandals and the swords and fantasy films, you kill a king and the whole bloody world's after you. The whole world and his wife is after you because you've just killed the king.
Hmm.
Think of Julius Caesar when Julius Caesar got killed. Look at the crap that hit the fan when
Yeah,
that act took place. This is something similar. Nothing goes on with this guy. He runs away. Nobody even bothers to pursue him. And at the end of the film, he tells the girl, I'm going back to face the consequences. I'll come and see you later. Really? I don't think so, sunshine. As far as I know, in them days, you kill the king, you're a dead person.
now wasn't this when he was telling this with Sparrowhawk? Didn't Sparrowhawk say something back to him like, "You must learn to master your fears"? Wasn't this that part of it for him to go back?
No, he tells it to Teru. He tells
He told
Teru.
True. Okay. I thought it
All,
was
all
both
that
of them, but
all that Sparrowhawk knows is that Aaron lives in fear of himself.
well, yeah, not so much in fear of himself, but in fear of the palace guards, probably.
Well, yeah,
I never saw where he lived in fear for of himself, if that makes sense.
yeah. I mean, he was running away basically from himself and what he'd done. Um, I I didn't get it. I mean, it's the one thing in the film. It's a big gap.
Yeah,
It's a big gap. Nothing happens about him killing the king. Not a damn thing. The act happens, and it's almost as if it's in passing. You know, oh, you killed the king. Carry on. Really? I mean, the very beginning of the film, for me, is quite. It opens with a bang. You have a ship on the ocean in a storm. They look up, and there's two bloody big dragons having a ding
yeah,
dong. That's a hell of an opening. And you think, cool, if this keeps up, it's going to be a good film. But just like the dragon that cops it at the beginning, the film comes down rapidly as well.
yeah, it does.
And you think, all this potential, and this is what you give us.
Exactly. And I know there are some artist reviewers out there that have reviewed this movie. And for the most part, I've seen most of them did not like it. But there's one that I found, and I'm sorry, I completely disagree with um, this particular quote. And they're saying that the film's art style stays true to Studio Ghibli's signature aesthetic with detailed backgrounds and expressive characters. I don't agree with that at all.
Um, I don't agree with the expressive characters. The backgrounds, some of them, let's be honest, some of those backgrounds are quite delightful to look at. Some of the backgrounds, they're not as free flowing as you pointed out. They're not as free flowing as in Pompoko or Princess Mononoke or Howl's Moving Castle, right? They seem to be static backgrounds, very static backgrounds. But the main animation, no. That to me, that was a retro step. That was going backwards. That didn't go forwards. That didn't take Ghibli anywhere new. If anything, it made Ghibli appear to be looking back to former glory days. The problem was, it didn't do them any favors by looking back.
No, you know, I don't know. Maybe I'm went into this and I was still partially blindfolded because it was Miyazaki's work that I was looking for with Studio Ghibli, not his son. And
Well, yeah,
to me, like I
yeah,
said, that's it. That's why I disagree with this particular reviewer. Is to me, and I know you've got a difference of opinion, but to me, the backgrounds fell flat. All of the artistry fell flat. It was no better for me than sitting there and watching a Saturday morning cartoon with my kids.
yeah.
It
Oh,
was the same artistry, the whole bit, from when
yeah,
kids used to watch My Little Pony type of thing,
yeah.
or
Well, there you go. There you go. There's one of the views from the film.
yeah,
I mean, the sky, the sun, yes. But look at everything else. That's the sort of thing you would get in a sticker book. And you put the figures wherever you want to put the figures. I mean, you have what is supposedly on the left-hand side there, what was an aqueduct. Only there's people in houses living in the aqueduct. There was never aqueducts that big. So, no.
no,
And I mean, nothing in the town is in one bit. Everything is in pieces. Everything. There's not a single building that is not damaged. Surely, in all that manoeuvring, people would be trying to fix things up. They don't. So basically, the whole kit and caboodle just doesn't. It doesn't come together. It
yeah,
doesn't. You know. I mean, you're on about the expressive characters, shall we say? You know.
mm,
No, I mean the characters. They're not expressive. There's not. There's, look at the girl's face. There's really nothing there, is there? There's nothing there. There's
no.
no. There's no folds in that top that she's wearing. The yellow top. There's no folds in it. There's no folds in the green. The white pinny that she's got on, a white apron. You've got a
Yeah,
single line. You know.
I have seen. There's a television show that my kids used to love, especially my niece when she was little. Don't laugh when I say this. It was all of the actors, the voice actors, were done primarily from Star Trek, and it was
Yeah.
called Gargoyles. And that picture you just shown right there was the same flat artistry that was in Gargoyles. Beautiful
Yeah.
story, one wonderful thing to sit and watch. I even as an adult
Oh
loved it.
yeah.
But it was like I said, flat. There is no three dimensional, like you said, looking at a crease in her dress or a certain twinkle in their eyes. All of that was missing completely.
Yeah. I mean, if you honestly think about it, let's get a picture of, shall we say, a Ghibli at its best. Excuse me, Phil. Oh, hang on, I got that wrong. I got it wrong. Oh,
Yeah, I gave up putting up mine because they're all out of order.
Yeah, there you go. Look at the difference.
Oh yeah, look at all the shadowing.
You have
along the
shadow.
face.
You have 3 dimensions. There are creases in there. You can
Mhm.
see the movement, even though that figure is static. You can feel movement. You can
Movement.
see.
Yeah.
You don't get that in this film with the
I mean,
animation.
look at the hair. Even the hair is kind of flipped up a little bit as they're going forward to blow.
Yeah,
It's just you can see that.
yeah. And look at the background. Look at the difference in the
Hmm.
background. You've got birds flying past.
Yeah.
No, this. Okay, Daddy didn't have a lot to do with it, but what stopped you asking Daddy for a bloody hand? What,
I think it all falls back into I can do this on my own, and I also think that Miyazaki felt a little bit burned that his board basically insisted that the son do it.
Yeah, yeah. Very true. Very true. I mean, the picture we've got as a background, right? Dragon and Aaron. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. Here's Miyazaki Sr. doing a similar picture. Come on.
I don't know if you noticed or not, but I put up the other one to show some of the artwork with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And here's,
oh yeah, that was a gorgeous one.
yeah. Now that's Miyazaki Sr. doing something of a similar take. You have the main character, Chihiro, and you have the dragon. Look at the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me that picture there doesn't hit you and you think, wow, that's good animation. That's a good picture. That the background, everything about it, the shading, everything, it's there. You don't have that in this film.
Even the expression,
Yeah.
on the dragon's face, you
On
can see.
Chihiro's face,
Yeah, exactly. Everything you can almost read what's going on in Jiro's mind and the whole
yeah.
bit.
Yeah, she's
And
sort of
yeah,
standing there thinking, okay, I'm here at the witch's house. I've got a light that's bouncing along doing its own thing, and now I've got a river god that wants to fly me back to the house. Yeah,
yeah.
you know, you can see, you can read there is no expressions to read in any of the Tales of Earthsea characters.
No, there's
I'm
not.
sorry, but there's not. It's a shame. It is
It
really,
really, it really is because I truly do feel if it had been done correctly, this would have been such a phenomenal movie. And part of me almost kind of wishes that Miyazaki would step out and redo it himself and include all the books and really do it right.
I think, as you pointed out, the author would probably step in and go, "No, you've had your
Yeah,
chance.
no, yeah, I
You,
think that's exactly what would happen.
yeah, you had your chance. You blew it. You ain't taking a second swipe." Even if Miyazaki Senior said, "I'm doing it," I think, to be honest, the author would turn around and say, "No." I agree with you. It would be nice if Miyazaki Senior took this film, and for me, he combined elements of Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, and put them into this film.
Yeah.
The animation of Spirited Away, the expressions, all that animation, magic, the backgrounds and the foregrounds that you get in Mononoke and in Howl's Moving Castle, which we spoke about 2 weeks ago. You looked when it opens, Howl's Moving, you've got that field with the sheep goat, and you can actually see the wind blowing the grass, and you can follow it.
Exactly.
take all of that magic that you already know that you can do, remake this dog's dinner of a film, and give us something that we will enjoy. The only thing that I would say you can rescue from this film would be the musical soundtrack.
I think you're probably right.
I don't think you can rescue anything else. You probably have to twist the story or tweak the story a bit better to make it a bit more enjoyable, because the story's not that brilliant, to be honest. But the musical soundtrack to this film is great, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just the animation and the stories. Just play with them. Give us something that we're going to sit down and think, wow, Ghibli. You know, keep your red turtle and Boy and the Heron. Just give us something we like. Sorry, you like Boy and the Heron. Sorry.
I like Boy and the Heron. I understood it.
As they say in Japan, say.
But, you know, moving forward, Miyazaki Jr. has done some fairly decent movies. You know, so.
Well, I've heard Up on Poppy Hill is quite a good film.
I was going to say, from Up on Poppy Hill, I thought we were eventually going to do that one.
Well, yeah, I can never get my hands on it. Didn't he have something to do with Whisper of the Heart? Or was that just Miyazaki Senior?
No, he had Whisper of the Heart as well.
Yeah.
And I think there was one other one, but I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. This one that he's got here. Nope, not that one.
It wasn't My Neighbor the Yamadas, was it?
No. The Neighbor Yamadas is by the bloke that did Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. No, this is.
Oh, The Earwig and the Witch, yes.
Yeah, that is one of Gorō's. Now, the animation in this is better than the animation in Tales of Earthsea. And this is CGI.
Yeah.
This is not bad. It's a very short story, but typical Gorō Miyazaki, soundtrack-wise, fantastic. No complaints. The graphics on this, the animation on this, takes a bit of getting used to, but once you get over the animation, you know, the style, you enjoy the film, if you ever get round to it.
Well, that one is on our list as well, probably coming up sometime in May or June.
Well, yeah, I mean, we've got Girl Let Through Time and all sorts to get through. And
oh, yeah. And like I said, our next one, which is already programmed, is Nausicaa.
Yeah, which is a good film.
With this, considering we were just talking about Nausicaa and some of the artwork. So,
yeah, I mean, let's be honest, it's a good film. You can't complain at that.
Nausicaa, I think, makes you think, but we'll get into that when we get into it. But, you know, one thing food-wise, I was like trying to figure out a food that fit with this, and the only thing I could come up with was exactly what they were doing on screen. When you were growing up, did you ever eat a shepherd's lunch or anything like that?
What, shepherd's pie and all that rest of stuff?
Not shepherd's pie, shepherd's lunch.
No, I can't say we did shepherd's lunch. Shepherd's pie I did, but not shepherd's lunch per se. Mum was a great one. Mum was a great one for her very thick soups and extremely thick stews, where she put all sorts of, you know, chicken, pork. She would put it all in, and you know, all the veg would go in, the potatoes, the carrots, the peas, the onion, you name it, all went in the same pot. And she would always do her own stock. She'd do her own stock from boiling a bone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, it's funny now where I'm seeing everywhere bone broth in those little packages, like the little drink packages that you can take of it. I have to laugh because I'm seeing those everywhere. And a few years ago, there used to be little Knorr
stock cubes.
Yeah, the cubes.
Yeah.
And before then, I forget what it was, but they were literally about the size of a dice. They were super small. and you could put them in. And there were different stocks, and I used to eat those. I used to
Oh
go. I used
yeah,
to go. Remember, they were kind of wrapped in tinfoil.
yeah. They were made by Noah as well, I think. Little round
Were they?
buggers, weren't they?
Yeah, but they were tiny. I mean, they were about that
Yeah,
big.
they were supposed to be, I think, condensed, wasn't it? Because that's why they were only
Yeah,
small.
yeah.
They
It
were
was super
supposed to be
condensed.
condensed. That's why you stuck them in a pot of water, and
Yeah,
they, yeah, yeah. I remember them.
I,
I
I
do
used
remember them.
I used to sneak in the pantry and grab one and would eat it. Would like lick on it all day long, like a horse would lick on a horse block.
See, you did that when I was a kid. My granny used to put sugar cubes in a silver teapot, and I didn't know that she'd put the sugar cubes in there to keep the silver from tarnishing.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize sugar did that to a silver teapot. It stops
I
it from
neither.
tarnishing and going black on the inside. Apparently,
I'll have
the
to try that.
problem was she had at least 3 grandkids that knew these sugar lumps were in this damn teapot,
Uh-oh.
and she would put the sugar lumps in on a Saturday, and by the following Saturday she was back up the co-op or the supermarket buying more sugar cubes to put the sugar cubes back in the teapot. And she
Well,
used to go ballistic because there was kids outside walking around with a sugar cube, crunching sugar cubes.
I was going to say she knew full well who was taking them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guilty. My grandfather caught me one time. What are you doing, you wee bugger? Nothing. Come here. Show us
Grandpa
what
was
you
probably
got.
doing the same thing.
Yeah. Up your hand up, sugar. You do realise your grandmother's going to bloody kill you if she finds out. You're not going to tell her, are you? Get outside. That was it. Felt outside.
Like I said, I bet Grandpa was in them too.
I think grandfather, yeah, he used to. But then again, grandmother couldn't talk because if you went to church with granny, if you were sitting there and you started to squirm and make it, the first thing she'd give you was a bloody mint imperial. Yeah, suck that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that seemed to be the in thing.
Ours were peppermints. But
Yeah,
yeah.
that was the in thing for Scottish grannies in the 60s and 70s. Bloody mint imperials. Mum was the same. If you were going on a long car journey, you'd say, buy some sweets. Yeah. What have you got? Mint imperials. Really? Yeah. You can pick
My
up
my
fruits.
my great grandmother used to give us the hard butterscotches that were
Yeah.
like wrapped in the I don't know what they were wrapped in. It was that crinkly, plasticky thing. They're not quite the same now. In fact, they're individual little things that you have to open up now. But they used to
Yeah.
have it where it was twisted on both ends. Yeah.
As a
I used
kid, I was into things like blackjacks. I don't know if you've ever had them in America. They're like little sweets. They were called blackjacks. You had to open them up like a chewy
oh
toffee, but they weren't gum. They were more a toffee
yeah.
stuff.
I know what they are. I don't think I've ever had one. We have a shop and cafe that's all British run, British owned.
Mm.
And she has an entire wall behind the cash register of candies.
Yeah.
And I know my daughter and my husband will get ones that I've never heard of before. But I think they
I
have some of those as well.
I used to be, and I don't anymore, but I used to be addicted to aniseed balls.
Oh, those aren't bad.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you eat too many of them, and
You'll have another
you,
problem.
yeah, you're sitting on a big white telephone.
We have
You'll see it.
we have the same problem. Yours were done in balls. I got mine in a box that was all completely natural from this specialty store, and
Mm,
they were the warm. Weren't warm, but they were soft and chewy, and they smelt so good. And I
yeah,
got in trouble at school because there was one boy that I really, really liked, and he liked the stuff, and we'd be passing it back and forth to each other, and both of us got busted a few times with it.
yeah. There's aniseed balls, and the other one was the honeycomb. I don't know if you remember. There was a chocolate bar called Crunchy. There was milk
Yep.
chocolate inside and a honeycomb in the middle.
Oh, I remember those.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that honeycomb in the middle, you used to buy it in some of the sweet shops over here. Just the honeycomb. And used to run in and buy one of these honeycombs and just sit there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we were terrible. We were terrible. That and licorice. You could
Oh
always tell
yeah.
a kid when a kid had licorice. He had black
As,
all the way around here.
as a
It
matter
was
of fact,
never
that's
in the
what.
mouth, it was around it.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, that is one of the Christmas presents I'm going to get for next, because I had gotten some specialty licorices that I wanted to try from a specialty shop, and I have them sitting up on my dresser. And every time she comes in the room, she's like, "Oh, can I have one? Can I have one?" And finally, I
Mm,
just said, "You know where they are. Don't even bother to ask." And my sister is the same way. And when it got down a little, there was only like maybe an inch and a half left of a layer of both of them. She's like, "Can I have them?" I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead." And she goes, "No, can I have them as in take the rest of them?" I'm like, "Yeah, go for it." So I'm going to get her from the specialty shop. They do 6 different varieties.
yeah, we have a box of sweets over here called licorice all sorts, and they are a
Yeah,
box,
that's it. Yeah.
and it's a big box, and they're quite good. Um, I'm trying to think of something that would be the size of a licorice all sorts. That you get a box about that size, and it's full licorice all sorts, and it's dark, and there's ones with little blue bowls or pink bowls stuck all over it, and you know
Hmm.
it's about that size. And you get them over here called licorice all. They're good, licorice all sorts. Between that and jelly babies, oh,
Oh, I love jelly babies. Love jelly babies.
yeah. Don't we just love jelly babies?
But yeah, but what I was saying as far as the recipes goes, the only thing I could think of was what they were having, which was a shepherd's lunch. Basically, it's just a piece of bread. It can be pumpernickel, it can be sourdough, whatever. I prefer it sourdough. And then you would just take a nice thick slice of cheese, and I hated it, but traditionally you would do a thick slice of onion on top of it.
The way they did it in the film.
Exactly. It was exactly like that. I don't
Yeah.
like the onion. I will eat sweet Walla Wallas sometimes, like an apple, like that, cut it. But I really detest actually not green, but fresh onions, because one, I have a hard time with it not, my breath not smelling like an onion. I'm around too many people. I talk to too many people. I don't want my breath to smell like an onion. But
Yeah.
but that's what we
No.
had growing up too. So when I saw that in the film, I'm like, okay, that's kind of nostalgic for me, and that was the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. Got to be honest, say we had, I suppose, something similar growing up. It would be a slice of bread, and they would put a cold slice of ham on it, and then
Oh yeah,
you would have either a sauce on there, or if you wanted, you could put onion or tomato or whatever else you fancied on the bread, on the meat, and
yeah,
you had that. And yeah, there was many times you see kids sitting scoffing this stuff. It was just, I suppose, quick and easy. You get just a slice of bread, everything in, fold it enough, here, out. You know.
yeah. It's basically a poor man's lunch, no matter how you looked at it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You
It
know,
was a,
but
it was a, as they usually say, a scoff and go.
yeah,
In, scoff, out. In fact, half the time it wasn't even in, scoff and out. It was in, grab and out. You
and
didn't even
out.
you stuffed it on the move.
That was me. Yeah, especially when I
Yeah,
was little and I wanted to play outside. It was like, just grab it and go. You
yeah.
know, where's the next
You,
tree for me to climb, type of thing.
yeah, you get some kids sitting next to you going, "Here's a bit. It's mine. Oh, go on, geezer. Oh, yeah. Have a laugh.
Hmm.
Share it with the kid. Bloody kid never gave you anything back. Did you notice that?
Yeah,
You give it to them, but they never give you that.
exactly.
Yeah, he's not happy. Come on, you've got geese done. No, I haven't got many. You think you're miserable. Sod you. You don't get any of my sarnie next time. You did. Those were the days.
Yeah, I was trying to think. There was one other thing that I did too along those same things. And I can't remember what it was. But
But the stew that she was making, that reminded me of what Mum used to do. She would take as I said, she would take an old bone that she got from the butchers, and she would boil the bone, and she would get the stock, and then if she had a chicken, the chicken meat that was left would go in the pot. The vegetables, peas would go in, carrots, potatoes, would all go in the pot, and it would just keep going. And she would add to it if she had a ham hock or a piece of gammon, and there was ham or gammon left, it would go in the pot, and you would end up sort of like by Wednesday, this damn thing, you had a pot this size, and it was just sitting there, and you'd say, well, what have I got for it? There you go. And you just help your bloody self. And that would keep you going. That would keep you going from sort of like Wednesday to Friday till she went shopping again. Leftovers? Hell no. That was it, pal. There was no leftovers. That was it. You knew from Wednesday to Friday you had this bloody big stew. The only thing she might add to it, she might add more potatoes or, a bit more flavouring from whatever she had around at the time. It was...
Well, no, that's kind of how it was, And I was raised by grandparents who went through early adulthood, during the dust storms and everything that we had here in the Depression. So for me, I was raised on all that stuff, as far as what they were. And like I said before, it's kind of funny because my generation, for me, does not feel like my generation half the time. I feel like I've lived my mother's generation because I was raised by my grandparents without a mother. And I was raised by grandparents. So it's like I was raised by, all of that coming forward. So I have a lot of these old recipes and stuff that people never really heard of,
Exactly. That. I mean, one that I wish I'd learned from my mother was she used to take pork meat, like minced meat.
Yeah.
And she would either make bowls up, so you had like a minced bowl of meat, or she'd make them like long, like patties, but they were to be about the size of about that size, about 2-3 inches across, and she'd coat them in a flour or something. But she had a special coating that she put, and she'd fry these damn things, and they were brilliant. You'd sit there and you'd eat them hot, or if there was some left, you'd scoop them up into a plastic bag or a paper bag, and you were off to school. And you'd have them in, and you eat them cold. And that was growing up. That was for me, was great. It was fantastic. But you tell kids these days that's what, and they look at you, ooh, wow. How can you eat something cold? Dead simple, sweetheart. You're sitting at school, you're hungry, and you can't have a school lunch. You bring it in and you eat it cold. Who gives a monkeys?
Well, one of the things that I started doing with the kids when they were younger, and they actually really like it now, at least my daughter really loves it, was something that I grew up on, and that was salmon patties or salmon croquets.
The what?
Salmon patties or salmon croquets.
Oh, yeah.
Where you took the canned salmon and then you put in an egg and some breadcrumbs or saltine crackers, a little seasoning and put it in. Yeah. Well, that came out of the same thing. That kind of came out of the Depression area as well.
Yeah, well,
I loved it growing up, so I had introduced it to the kids when they were young because I was just craving it. And my daughter loves it. She goes and makes it half the time.
Yeah, I got to be honest, most of what my mum's recipes came from actually were wartime recipes.
Yeah.
when you had the rationing,
Oh
and
yeah.
you could get a tin of spam if you were lucky, or corned beef, um, and you had to make do with that. So you learn to be, as they say, adventurous,
Yeah.
and you would use a lot of spices that normally the Brits wouldn't even look at. But you'd say, well, let's try a bit of this and we'll do a bit of that. An egg. If you were lucky, you had a chicken that laid an egg. That was it. That was your ration, that egg. And
Yeah.
that's where most of Mum's recipes come from. Was during the war, and she grew up learning. I mean, she was what? She was born in 36, so she was 3 years old when the war started.
Yeah.
So she went through the war. She knew what it was to go without. I mean, one of her statements she used to make was, at the end of the war, um, she was given two presents from two different soldiers. One was an orange, the other was a banana, and she thought she was the richest thing in the planet.
Well, I bet she did.
And all she was given was an orange and a banana. And the banana she hadn't seen.
Yeah,
The
because
bloke
I'd be
had to
like,
show her how to open it.
yeah, because I'd be like, bananas weren't wildly known at that point. They were mostly in tropical areas. I think here in California we knew what they were.
Yeah,
Maybe Florida, but and obviously Hawaii. But other than that, I don't really see many people knowing what it was.
no,
An orange, it used to be you were lucky if you got an orange around Thanksgiving or Christmas.
yeah,
Nowadays,
most,
because there's,
yeah.
international, flights and shipping and the whole bit, you can get them anytime, anywhere.
Anyway, exactly. I mean, I can remember growing up, and I mean, I was born in '57. I can remember growing up. Apples and tangerines were a Christmas specialty.
Hmm.
Come Christmas, and you thought, here we go, oranges, tangerines, and if you were really lucky, you get a pear. That was cool. Somebody would buy a tin of pears, and you would get pear cobbler made up. Oh, that was
Yeah.
gorgeous. You know,
I think that's where Harry and David's company came from. Was
mm,
out of World War II and um, the love of certain, like I said, fruits and stuff that you couldn't get anywhere.
no,
The Harry and David's nut company, fruit company, right?
I have come across it. Yes.
Yeah. And I kind of have to laugh all the time now because I'm like, I'll come across it. I don't need it. I can go down to my grocery store and and you're charging that much money for an apple, a pear, and a block of cheese and a handful of nuts? No.
Yeah. I mean, I know I shouldn't say this, but I can remember as a kid, especially in Germany, going up. We used to call it going scrumping when the apples were in, ready for picking.
Yeah.
We go scrumping. We go nicking the apples. We weren't supposed to. The farmer was going ballistic because this was his crop, but you had all these kids running
Hmm.
around in the orchards, half a dozen apples off a tree, leg it. That
We
was just
haven't.
how it was done.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny. We have a neighbor a street and a half down on the corner, and they have an orange tree in their yard. And it used to drive me insane because they wouldn't pick the oranges, they wouldn't take care of it, and you would drive past and there'd be all these oranges rotting on the ground. And I think finally one day, I don't think it was my kids that did, I think it was a friend of ours, they sent their kids up there to ask if they could, clean it up or pick the oranges. And were told very smartly, no, I don't want them touched. And yet they're all sitting there rotting on the ground.
Yeah.
And I got thinking, that is such, we have
Some
so many
people,
hungry people here in this area.
yeah.
And like I said, this was years ago, but we still had, it's like, if you're
But
not going
there
to
are
clean it
people
up,
like
it's a
that.
waste. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
there
know.
are people like that who just they don't get it. They don't understand.
I think that's the part that's made me the most mad.
Yeah,
Is it's nothing that you're going to lose or waste. It's literally rotting on your property.
yeah.
Why can't we, you
Mm.
know?
Now, see, in Germany, we had the exact opposite with one of the farmers that had cherry trees. He would pick the cherries, and he would take basically the cream of the crop. He would say, right, that tree, take all the cherries off. That tree, take the cherries off. And then the other trees, he would come along and we've done it many a time. We would look and he'd go, do you want some cherries? Yes. Okay. You see those 4 trees over there? Yes. They're yours. Go pick them. He wasn't bothered. He'd got the cream of the crop. Those 4 trees over there, they'd probably been hit by the birds and all the rest of it, nicked by squirrels, whatever. And what was
Yeah.
left? You want them? You pick them. Off you go.
There's probably a lot of good ones there.
And there was, oh yeah, I mean, my mother used to love it. I'd come in with a bag of cherries, and she'd go, "You've been down Hans's farm again?" Yep. How many we got? There you go, mum. And she'd sit there for the rest of the listening to the radio. Cherries.
Oh, she wouldn't be depitting them and doing them for cherry pie or something.
Oh no, no, no. Oh, you're joking. Cherries and strawberries are 2 things you never gave my mother because they never made it into the kitchen.
That
Never
would
made it into
be
the kitchen.
strawberries would be my downfall. I have a guy who comes around with full on flats of them.
Yeah,
The big, huge, huge, huge flats. And I used to be able to get an entire flat for $20 when he'd come around. A little more expensive than that now. Um, but I would bring it in. Let's say he came around at 11, 10:30, 11 o'clock. I would bring it in, and by the end of the day, we would be lucky if we had 2 baskets left. You know, between
yeah,
me
that would
hitting
not
him,
surprise me.
between me hitting him, um, both Max and my niece Catherine hitting them. Colby didn't like them too much, but then my sister and my brother-in-law, between all of us, it would be like wiped out. Mainly the kids and I.
I always remember I took mum to a farm where they were doing pick your own strawberries.
Hmm.
And we went, yeah, okay, we'll stop. We'll pick these bloody strawberries, mother. So off we went, picking bloody strawberries, and got back to the little hut where you had to pay. You weighed the strawberries. She said, right, that much. So I paid for it. Mother put hers on. Went back home, put the strawberries. I said, hey, you can help yourself now. She went, I've had enough. Pardon? I've had enough. What do you mean you've had enough? Well, wait a minute. Let me guess. It was one for me, one for the yeah. And
Two for
she'd
me,
been
one for
like
the
that.
bag.
Yeah, one for me, one for the basket. One for me, one for the. And she'd gone down an entire bloody row. We were there about half a sodding hour. So Christ knows how many strawberries she scoffed on the way down, picking the damn things.
I mean, you only paid for the ones that were in the basket.
And we only paid for the ones that were in the damn basket. Because we used to stand and laugh because, she was one of these people that go, one for you and one for me, too. And she'd
Yeah.
end up with 2, and you get, hang on a minute. What? You've got 2. I've only got 1. Yeah, well, that was all right. See, one for you, one for me, 2. Hang on a minute. You've got 4.
Yep.
She was a canny old bugger, my mother, I'll tell you.
Well, we have been off on the fruits and veggies trail for a bit, so I think we're probably done with the movie review.
I think so.
So,
Sorry, people. Sorry. If you come into here, Tales of Earthsea, you've had it. We've been there, done that, slugged it off.
I think we needed to go slightly off. Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's a great movie just in general of a movie if you just want to sit and watch it just for the movie's sake. But
It's a cartoon that's worth a watch. Um,
yeah,
if you, the best bit about it, as I say, and I've always said it, is the musical score. It's great. The film itself, yeah, it's one of those, as we say over here, it's a Marmite one. You either like it or
or
you
you
don't.
don't. Yep,
Um,
that's kind of my feelings on it. I
yeah,
like it as just something to sit and watch, maybe while I was doing other things.
yeah.
But it's definitely not one that you can sit there and it'll blow your mind with its, with
No, it,
artistry or
it
storyline.
is not a house. It's not a house moving castle. It
No,
is not a Princess Mononoke. It is not a Kiki's Delivery Service, and it is definitely not a Spirited Away.
and it's not
Not
a
in,
Nausicaa.
no, and it's not a Nausicaa. And this Nausicaa was done way before this.
Yeah.
Um, Nausicaa knocks this out the park. To be honest,
Oh yes, it does.
Nausicaa take Nausicaa in this and say, right, you have a choice. Nausicaa, Tales of Earthsea, and I guarantee you,
Nausicaa.
people are going to go Nausicaa.
Yep.
That has a story that keeps you interested. This, not so much. I mean, that doesn't mean not to watch it. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
If you want to watch it and it's your kind of thing, I mean, great. Some people will watch this. Some people will enjoy it. Some people will actually love it. I mean, that's just how things are. Not everybody was a fan of this. I mean, I'm not overly keen, but I'm not going to sit here and rip it to pieces and tell people not to watch it because that's not what we're about. Not what we're about at all. We just give you an honest review of what we thought of the film. Hey, such is life.
Yep. So I kind of feel the same way you do. It's like, okay, and I think I said this before. It's great just to sit down, let your mind wander, do something. But if you really want a fascinating, riveting movie, this is not one of them.
No, this is definitely not a film where you are going to sit there and love it. That is definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
Mind you, some people may do. Some people may do.
Yeah. Everybody has different tastes, so
Yeah, I mean, it is. You know, some people would say, "Would you recommend Tales of Earthsea?" Suck it and see.
yeah.
I've watched it what 3 or 4 times now, um, and yeah. What I can't understand though is if you get it on DVD, it will last 110 minutes. If you get it on Blu-ray, it'll last 115 minutes. Now I've watched both. I'm damned if I can see where that 5 minutes gets. I did 5 minutes. I damned if I can find it.
All I can say is maybe there's an addition to the musical soundtrack, or did it
Um,
run credits longer?
it could be the credits. I suppose, yeah, it could be the fact that it's the credits or the beginning part and who knows. But
Yeah.
somewhere in that whole film, they've managed to sneak in an extra 5 minutes in the Blu-ray. And I would suggest actually, if you're going to buy version of the film, that you get hold of this version, where you get the DVD and the Blu-ray,
Yeah.
but you get some extras on the Blu-ray. And on the Blu-ray, you get the birth of the film soundtrack, which is well worth a watch. I will be honest, it is well worth a watch. And they also do a behind the microphone featurette where you see the Japanese cast doing some of the film.
Oh wow.
And that is also an extremely interesting little featurette. So if you can see this one kicking around and you can get hold of it, I would suggest, yeah, because as I say, it's worth it for the added extras on the Blu-ray disc. And I'll be honest.
I will have to try that.
Yeah,
'Cause
especially the music.
I just have the regular disc, and then of course I have it all on streaming as well. But I
Yeah,
have the hard copy disc too.
yeah. But I mean, I managed to land this one. And now I've noticed they've got what they call the collector's edition out, which is the DVD, the Blu-ray, and you get
Visual soundtrack, yeah.
the 5 little postcards to go with it, as is for Earwig and the Witch.
Yep.
As is, believe it or not, the other film that I got at the same time, Whisper of the Heart.
Right.
Which is, this is actually a film by Yoshifumi Kondo, Whisper of the Heart.
Yep. That's going to be a fun one to do, but I said I don't think we're going to be doing that one until May or June.
No, we probably won't be. And then the other one that I am not looking forward to reviewing, shock horror, is that one.
Yeah, you mentioned that one, but we'll go into it more when we do that one.
Yeah, when we finally get there, I'll explain why I'm not overly chuffed with that one either. Believe you me, I'm not overly chuffed with that one.
Let me see if I can find the notes that I have for that one.
You've made notes already for My Neighbor the Yamadas?
No, I haven't made notes, but I need to find out where it is in our lineup. Oh yeah, well, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Because
we've got Nausicaa in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, I know, but this one isn't until. Oh God, this one's not going to be until April or May.
Oh well, there you go. Then we've got forever and a day.
Yeah, because the last two, when we had scheduled stuff out and it was going through till April, the last one we had scheduled out was Ocean Waves, and my neighbor Totoro, my neighbor the Yamadas is right before that. So, like I said, that one's going to be April, and then Whisper of the Heart will either be April or May, depending on where it falls in that. May even be June.
I've got to be honest and say, I am looking forward to doing Ocean Wave and Whisper of the Heart. Those two I am looking forward to doing. And the other one I've also mentioned, is it Tunnel of Summer and the Exit of Goodbyes?
Yeah, you mentioned that one.
Yeah, that's another one I'm looking forward to reviewing, because that is that is a good film. I don't know if you've managed to see it yet, Liz, but if you do get a chance, go.
Yeah, I haven't. In fact, I don't even think I have that on our list right now.
No, if you get a chance to see it, darling, I would honestly suggest go for it. Then you can decide whether or not you want to have a go at it.
I have so many. We have so many here in line as well to do. It's like, how many do I do in advance? Because most of these I've seen before. I would say 98% of them I've seen before, but there's one or two that you're catching me with that I haven't. But
well, I think one I caught you with was Wolf Children, wasn't it? I don't think you'd seen that one before.
I love Wolf Children. That one's great.
Yeah, Wolf Children was one I caught you with. You mentioned The Girl That Leapt Through Time.
Mm-hmm.
So you've obviously seen that one. So we've got that one coming up. We've got Garden of Words to come up. So we've got that one to go. 5 centimeters per second.
Yep.
Got that one to come up. I keep looking for other films. I mean, I know there's Voices of a Distant Star and whatever, but I don't know if I can ever find them or get round to them. Because like I said, I cannot get Up on Poppy Hill. No matter what I do, I cannot get it. Well, it's most annoying. Most annoying.
Yeah, I don't understand why you can't get it, but
Yeah, you see it on a certain streaming platform or a certain platform that sells things, and you think, and then you think, right, I'll go in and order that. But you're back in to order it and no longer available. We don't know when or if this will ever come back in again. And you think,
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
It's like my Huda Mizuku. I've been chasing that now for 5 years.
Yeah, you've been chasing that for a while.
Yeah, I still cannot get a Huda Mizuku. I have the DVD, but unfortunately, it's got a hiccup in it, so I lose episodes. I lose the end of episode 3. I lose episode 4 completely, and I lose the beginning of episode 5.
Wow.
And considering there's only 11 episodes in the whole damn anime, it's frustrating.
Oh yeah.
Very frustrating because
I don't know if you were hearing a loud rumble come through on your end, but it was my nephew leaving on his bike, and I have the window open so you can really hear the bike rumble.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't hear it, to be honest.
Yeah, the other day somebody had caught it when I was talking to them, because I think at that point both he and his dad were going out. So we had 2 bikes going out, and they both have adapted pipes to make them louder. So,
What are they, Harleys?
oh God, yes. Sorry, I'm a Harley
Oh,
girl.
Roger.
Okay,
Eh?
I'm a Harley girl. Okay.
Oh, you're a Harley girl, are you? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I had visions. You see, I know some Americans are really into what we laughingly over here call lead wings. The real name is Honda Gold Wings, but we call them lead wings because they.
Well, I wouldn't exactly say my best friend, but he is godfather to my niece. Um, he had a Harley Goldwing for quite a while, but then I think he wrecked it.
Yeah.
He or his wife did, one of the two. That was years ago. I'm not sure what he's got now.
I know my friend is into the BMW bikes, but the problem he has with some of the BMW bikes, especially the older BMW bikes, is what he calls the pots at the side. They are low down, so when you crank over and you crank it too much, you scrape the top of your pots.
Well, that's why you have the guards on, is so you don't scrape it. And that might be what he's scraping. Is just his guards.
Yeah, no,
he's got guards on ours.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have guards on his. He's done his pots in a couple of times.
See, when you can whip it all the way over to where you are scraping, that's where you want to be on a ride, especially if you're taking curves. You want to be able to do that.
Yeah, you really want to. Yeah, you want to crank over. But what you don't want to do is crank over on a Lambretta scooter. Don't ever crank over on a Lambretta scooter. No. I know this from personal experience. Do not crank a Lambretta scooter over, because when that running board meets the ground, guess what? You're following it because it just stops the damn bike. Boom.
Yeah. You kind of remind me of my sister when she got I think it was a Honda scooter or something, because she didn't really want to ride the big bikes by herself. She just wanted something that she can control. She doesn't mind riding Bob, but she doesn't want to do it herself. So she tried to take this one out with not really paying attention to where she was putting stuff on, ran square into our neighbor's iron fence, screwed up her knee, screwed up the fence. So after this, she's like, "No, I'll ride Bob from now on. That's it."
Yeah. Well, no, I got given a Lambretta scooter because I was at that time I was really into my 60s music, so it was all done up like the 60s mod bikes that you see.
Oh, okay.
Over here, it was all done up with the mirrors and the all the bits and pieces, all the bits of chrome. Look gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm, as you do, and my mate said, no, he said, when you want a bike, he said, no matter what it is, crank it over. You'll be fine. Yeah,
Not that
whatever.
kind. Not that
Yeah, so
kind.
I'm poodling along, and he come past me on his bike, and he went, "Crank it over for Christ's sake." Okay. And of course, over it went, hit the bloody running boards. The bike stopped. I went. The bike went. Uh, Everything on one side got broken and smashed and dented. And I just stood up and went, "Foxtrot Oscar," and walked away.
Yeah.
He said, "What about that?" I said, "What about it?" He said, "What are you going to do with it?" I said, "Well, as far as I'm concerned, anybody that wants it can have it." He said, "I'm not wanting it no more." I didn't go near bikes for years after that.
Wow. But I think we should wrap this up because I do have a doctor's appointment coming up. So.
Yeah, and you've got an afternoon of sport coming up too, haven't you, young lady?
Oh, yes, I do.
Yes, you do. I think I've got two over here because I think actually the one in Germany's already started. I think that
I
started
think
at two
I think
o'clock.
it did. Yeah.
That started
I
at
think
2 o'clock. I'd be interested actually to see what the score is with that.
Do I want to know?
What do you mean you don't want to know? Come on, you do.
No,
You
I know, I
do.
know.
Oh
What is
dear.
it? Oh, do
Who did
what?
you pick? Who did you pick?
Which one are playing right now?
Well,
Who's
you've got the Falcons against the Colts in Berlin. Who did you pick? Falcons or Colts?
I think I picked the Colts. Why?
Well, yeah, I think I went with you and all. It's 17-13 to the Falcons.
They still have a chance.
Yeah, it's the third quarter.
Yeah, no, they still have a chance. They're only in the third.
Yeah, it's 6:57 in the third quarter, and the Falcons are up 17-13. Oh dear.
Well, like I said, they're not up by that much. That's not that big of a hurdle to get over.
Well, you would have thought the Colts at 7-2 would have plucked the Falcons easily enough, but never mind. It's been one of them seasons.
Yeah, it has. Hang on, I'm pulling up what I got.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll let the ladies and gents go because no doubt they have things to do as well.
Yep, no, Speedy's the only one that picked the Falcons. Everybody else went for the Colts.
Oh dear. Speedy's sitting there
Uh,
laughing his little socks off then.
I know he did it last week, that's for certain.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what I did see. People kicking off about the Eagles against the Giants with the old tush push. They reckon that they jumped the tush push a couple of times.
I know, that's been a debate going around for a bit, but yeah.
Oh yeah, there was um some guy on the other day, and he was giving it large, showing the front, the front
Mm-hmm.
line jumping, and then complaining that the quarterback got halted in forward motion. He says, "I'm highly surprised." He says, "But now," he says, "if they get rid of it, I'm not going to complain."
See,
He
I
was
like
giving,
the tush push, personally.
yeah. Well, we'll wait and see.
Yep. But on that note, why don't you take us out of here?
Right, ladies and gents, lads and lasses. I hope we at least gave you a bit of a giggle, a bit of a laugh, and a little bit of the flavour of the film Tales of Earthsea. As I've said, if you want to watch it, please go ahead. Don't decry it just because we didn't like it. You never know, you may enjoy it. But from myself and my lovely co host, Liz, have a nice weekend, stay safe, and enjoy yourself.
You're here.
And we will see you hopefully in 2 weeks' time.
Yep.